Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another edition of Boxing Bananas, brought to you by Fight Bananas, where we are crazy about fights. I am your host, Ray the Business, and I am joined, of course, by my co host, the professor, Mr. John Radford. What's going on, John?
What's up, man? Good seeing you again today, bud.
Yeah, that's right, man. Dude, I still feel like my face is almost still a little bit rosy. We did few rounds of mitts today.
Took
At
turns
the
on
gym.
them, so I appreciate your work just like that. You know what I mean? Appreciate you.
Thank you. Yeah, and I appreciate you big time, man. It was like a hot box in that gym, but
Oh, it is. It is. It's a sauna for sure.
yeah, no, but it's good, man. It feels good to sweat. You
It
know what I
does.
mean?
It does.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, you know what I mean? We got into some boxing, so let's get into some more boxing.
That's right.
Before we do, we got to shout out our sponsors. We got
Jaws
Jazzercise. Take it away.
Jaws are size, guys. You know, it's the little ball you put in your mouth. You work your face out. It helps with a lot of different things. The little pretty jawline. Look at that. Cheekbones, everything like that. Using the code Fight Bananas for 15% off your order. It's awesome. It's fantastic. You know, while you're working out, while you're driving, 10, 15 minutes a day for 60 days straight, you'll see it. You'll see it. And then we're going with HKA Bananas 20 for 20% off all your fight gear, all the things you need, headgear, shin guards if you need them, boxing gloves, all of them, all different fabulous colors, different shirts, you know what I mean? Apparel. It's great stuff. Check them out. And definitely use the code Bananas20, guys. Come on.
For 20% off. Yeah, we got some work in today with the HKA USA up in the gym today. You know what I mean? So
Yes, sir.
that being said, guys, make sure you check out our sponsors and make sure you comment below if you want to be featured live on the show, on the screen. We'll bring up your comments and yeah, you know what I mean? Negative, positive, whatever you want to say. You know, your opinion is valued here at Boxing Bananas and
Yes,
Fight
it is.
Bananas.
We love your opinions.
So that being said, man, definitely want to get into some boxing news, kind of the schedule going on, the fight this weekend, all sorts of stuff. Over the weekend, I think, you know, one of the only things we really had going on was our boy, Mr. Floyd Money, came back. Did you get a chance to check out that fight, you know, for what it was?
It's hard for me to watch Mayweather anymore because in my eyes, if he wants to fight, let's just like keep fighting. I get that you don't want to blemish your perfect record. I get that. It's all how do I say it? You know, it's all for money and you're making money and people are watching it. And I not knocking that in any way, but it's not my cup of tea because it's like there's no one really giving Mayweather a challenge. You know what I mean? It's like John Gotti the third. Are we in a mafia war? You know what I mean? Is that what this is? Is this Mafia Wars? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I guess what he did have, you know, he had a 2-0 pro record as well as like 20 pounds at the weigh-in on him, but still, you know what I mean? That it doesn't like when you're going against even with Floyd at 47 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah,
His IQ, his skill set is just too elite for any of that. You know what I mean? It's just if you're not world class, if you're not a world class and world champion at the younger age, it's just kind of like I don't really need to watch Floyd just have fun. I'm glad you're
yeah.
having fun. I'm glad you're having fun, Money Mayweather, but I don't necessarily need to watch that for me. You know what I mean?
No, I feel you 100%. Real quick, we got my boy Lee Gibson. Hi again from
What up, Lee?
England. Lee, shout out to you, bruv, and the man them out there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I'm a little torn on it. You know, one, I want to watch Floyd because it's one of those things where it's like, how many more opportunities are we going to get to see Floyd? I guess as long as he keeps doing these exhibition fights, you know, but he could stop any moment, and then we're going to get one of those like, oh well, you know, it'd be nice to see him again, I guess, right? But then also, I feel the same way as you on the other hand, where I'm watching it and I'm kind of like, what's the point of me watching this right now?
Yeah.
You know, there's really nothing. I think the only exhibition fight that would really even intrigue me right now is an exhibition with a rematch with Pacquiao. Pacquiao had an exhibition like a couple weeks ago where he fought some kickboxer in like Japan or something. It was only a 3-rounder, And what's weird is that we were hearing rumblings that he might come back into actual professional boxing. He might fight for the WBC title against Mario Barrios. And I feel like his performance in that fight, I don't know if you got to see it, like his performance kind of shut all that down.
Was it bad?
It just wasn't good. You know what I mean? He looked his age. He's 45. He looked slow.
No, I mean, yeah, I love Manny Pacquiao, man. I mean, I'm okay with these guys doing that, but let's not overextend what we're trying to do here and do like I honestly like what's wrong with walking away and having that glorious career behind you? I know it's hard. I know it's tough. I get that. Everybody who's ever fought gets an itch to do it again, no matter what level. You always want to do it again because if you ever had your hand raised, anybody who has had their hand raised in a real match of any sorts knows that's one of the greatest feelings you can ever have.
Yeah.
When you beat another man across from you or a woman, if you're a woman and you have your hand raised, there's just a feeling that you don't come across. You know what I mean? Like there's so many people that aren't going to get that feeling in certain ways, and you go and chase that feeling. But these guys are going to do exhibitions and things like that. And yeah, people want to see them. I know that, but I don't want to go see Michael Jordan play a pickup basketball game. That doesn't count for anything. I don't want to see Michael Jordan play horse. I mean, do I want to see it if it's free and it's down the street? Yeah. But am I paying pay-per-view money for it, or am I paying like just to even see it like that? No.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. If it's a pay-per-view, it's a cash grab. Most definitely. And the only reason why they would even do it is, my boy Lee Gibson coming in with the money. I mean,
I get it. They're making money. I'm not hating on them. I just don't want to watch it.
So, I mean, really, if they want to do the ultimate cash grab, it's like, bro, Mayweather Pacquiao 2, an exhibition fight, make it at least 8 rounds, if not 10, and put him out there again. I feel like it'll probably be a better fight than the first, to be honest.
Yeah, probably would.
Yeah, but who knows? You know what I mean? A lot of people felt like that fight was a cash grab as it was. So,
can we make it a smaller ring though?
Yeah, right. We don't need a 24 red panty night.
Yeah. Anybody who fights Mayweather is a red panty night. He started the red panty night, right?
Yeah, exactly, bro. So, yeah, you know what I mean. It is what it is. But back to what I was saying about Pacquiao. That's not going anywhere. It's one of those where it's similar to like what we were talking about last week or the week before, whenever it was with what's his face, Crawford. Like the Crawford Canelo talks after his performance against Madrimov, those got shut down. Similar to the Pacquiao thing. As soon as that performance, hey, do we really need to put him in there with Mario? Because Mario's a guy who's getting better. I feel like.
Yeah, he's getting better. He's still at that stage in his life he can get better, and he's younger. And there's no point in it. If we really want, let's get a cash grab. Let's go Mayweather, Mike Tyson. I feel there's some beef there that can be said.
Right? That would be nuts. That would be nuts for sure. But and then some interesting stuff happened with the whole ref switch there.
So explain that to me if you watched it. Explain how that even can remotely happen besides the fact that obviously in any exhibition Mayweather's running everything.
Yeah. So essentially, you know how Floyd likes to throw, the right hook?
Yeah.
So he throws that, but Gotti was bending over. So as he was doing it, it was coming here and hitting like this back part, which is one of those things where if you lean into it, like the shot is legal.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a second, because I was understood of it when I fought as if you lean forward, if he makes a circular motion around and comes back to it, that's on him because you're not below the waist. You're not in an illegal, like you know what I mean? If I slide past my head on his shoulder and I didn't drop below his waist, I'm still legal. And if you come around with that hook, I was understood that would be an illegal shot, and that's a true illegal shot. Is it slightly different? Is my understanding wrong?
Wait, explain the last part again.
So like we're in the clinch, we clump, your shoulder's here, I lean my head past your shoulder, right? We're shoulder to shoulder, and you take that hook, and I'm going this way. I didn't drop my head past your, waist, just like that's illegal. If I drop past your waist or I duck downwards, that's on me, 100%. I get that. But if I lean this way to slip and you come around with that hook to the back of my head when my head's over here and you come around like this, I'm pretty sure that's an illegal shot. Like I don't think illegal. Yeah, I'm saying like I shouldn't be doing that. You know what I mean? If your head's over here past my shoulder, it's not below my waist, it's not past anything. You're just putting your head essentially in a safe zone, right?
Yeah.
The area there's nothing to hurt it, and I literally turn like this to hit you.
Yeah.
Is that not illegal?
No. I think in that instance, yes, it is illegal. But I feel like what it is all is about positioning and intention.
Now,
so
my next question for you was Mayweather hitting with any part touching the ear.
You know, it's hard to tell, but it's one of those like. So what you're saying is essentially if you move in and then you kind of turn over to hit like that, yeah, because now the positioning's different. You have to reposition, and then the intent is there to throw it there, and you should know. But if me and you are squared up, and then I go to throw that shot, and then you lean as I'm throwing it, and it hits you back there.
Completely, yes, that's legal.
Yeah, exactly. For our MMA listeners, right? We got a lot of MMA people on Fight Bananas. The first fight with McGregor and Dustin, where McGregor he clipped him as Dustin was coming down, and it clipped him right here in the back of the head. But because it's in the motion, it's not an illegal shot. Now, if you turn and then I start hitting you in the back of the head because you're turned, now it's now we're looking at different things. So it just comes down to did I already turn, or is it at the same time you bend down this way and then I throw? Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things that it's unfortunate sometimes. I've seen people, get dropped by shots like that and they get called as knockdowns because it's part of the motions. You know what I mean?
If you're like you said, if you throw the shot and I lean forward trying to get out of the way of that shot and then you hit me there, that's on me. So that makes sense. And and I think Lee Gibson's right. It depends on the movement of both parties. That's a very good, and it does mess up the equilibrium very bad. And it's a bad shot to take. It's horrible because that's how we have those deaths and those problems from that wonderful young man that.
Yeah, because you're hitting the cerebellum.
Yeah, exactly.
Back here.
So I get that. If you lean forward on a face-to-face shot, we lean forward and I take that there, that's on me. But if like I said, if I think if we're in the clinch and I lean my head past you and you have to turn your body to hit me or turn that angle to throw that hook right there, that's a rabbit punch and would be illegal in my eyes.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's like if I roll, but I don't roll enough to roll under the shot, and then it clips me in the back of the head.
Well, that's on the roller.
Yeah, they're the ones that roll deeper. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing?
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying? Or they're doing the mitts where. Instead of throwing it here, they're going like over the top of the person. You know what I mean? You see people do that. So yeah, it's probably one of those things. But to your initial question of why did the whole thing happen was because the ref had already tried to tell, like, Floyd had threw it before, and then and Lee's correct. Bend at the knees, not the waist. You could throw a little bit of waist in there, but you can't just freaking,
Lee, this is the saying that works for yours. Bend at the knees, feel the breeze. Bend at the waist, get hit in the face.
Yeah. So, most definitely. Yeah, you don't want to be freaking just bending over all the time. Your coach is going to go pause every time you do it. So... But yeah, so essentially Floyd had already thrown it. It had already kind of landed before Gotti was yelling at the ref, trying to complain. And then later in that second round, when Floyd had done it again and Gotti did the same thing without adjusting to it because it's his fault, then the ref tried to be like, oh, Floyd, you can't do that. And like broke up the action, paused it, everything. And Floyd was like, bro, what are you talking about? It's not an illegal shot. They were getting into an argument. Floyd's like resumed the action. And he's like, oh, no. I'm going to sit here and scold you about it. And then Floyd was just like, bro, get out of the way. And then that's where the other guys kind of walked in and were like, okay, well, this is becoming a situation now because you can't have a fighter argue with the ref like that. Right. You start getting into grounds of disqualification and those type of natures. I think, especially since it was an exhibition, whoever's running it is like, let's just get this ref out of here. And the people that were running it too probably thought the same thing. I don't know what this ref is talking about. That's not an illegal shot. And now the ref is sitting here scolding it. They're in an argument about it. Hey, pull him. We got another ref on standby. Let's go. So that's what it was. And knowing Floyd, he probably was like, I'm not too keen on this ref anyways. Let's have somebody as backup just in case. And it is what it is. So it was definitely odd. I've never seen it before. I don't know that we would see it in a actual like professional setting, other than like in the undercard fights that were professional. I don't know that we would have seen that.
Okay.
Also, it was in Mexico.
That's true. Okay.
So maybe we would have, because it's Mexico. So who knows what's going on over there? You know what I mean? We've seen on people's box recs that we pulled up.
They be hiding. They be hiding in them countries. They be hiding the records.
Yeah, they hide their records. They're doing fights at bars, stuff like that are official. So it is what it is. But yeah, we'll see what happens with Floyd. Let's see if he comes back against, some YouTuber or something. You know how it is.
I need to see Floyd Mayweather, Logan Paul too. I need to see it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. How about we see Floyd versus Dylan Danis?
Oh, absolutely. You know what? Let's just go for the big shebang, the face of boxing. Let's go Floyd versus Jake Paul.
I don't know that Floyd would want to take that fight, because
I would never be this guy, but I'm gonna be the guy now. Floyd beat the shit out of Jake Paul.
I don't know, man, because Jake's a lot bigger, and Jake actually has at least decent skills. His brother, had nothing for Floyd really, other than kind of like flurry stuff like that. And Logan landed some shots, you know what I mean? And that was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Now Floyd's even older.
It's very true.
So he's basically in the prime age bracket of Jake Paul opponents.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
So maybe there's something to it.
Maybe he's too young. He might be too young. He
might be. Yeah, we might need to wait 2 more years, and then we'll be able to do something with it. But that being said,
Lee agrees with me. Mayweather and Jake would be better.
Yeah. Shout out to Lee.
Appreciate you, bruv.
Yeah. Appreciate you being awake right now. But that being said, we'll get into some boxing news. Let's get into the schedule coming up. I'll go ahead and share my screen here. So we got the Ring Magazine schedule. So this weekend we got Diego Pacheco versus Sulecki. We'll get into that towards, actually what I want to do is go into some like one of these fights coming up, then go into boxing news, and then I want to circle back at the end of the show for the Diego Pacheco fight. So we can cover that. What I want to talk about now is Tuesday morning's fight.
Yes,
and
sir.
Tuesday morning. So that being said, if nobody's ever watched Inoue fight before, he's fighting in Japan. He's fighting on Tuesdays. At nighttime there is basically like
between 6 and 8 here is usually when the fight goes, depending on how fast it goes.
Basically, yeah. If you want to watch the fight, then you want to see the monster fight, set your alarm clock, and then be up early and put it on, because if not, then you're gonna miss it. So Inoue is fighting this weekend.
I will tell you, it's worth your ass waking up and watching him fight. He truly is. He lives up to his name, the monster. The man finishes everybody, practically everybody.
27-0, 24 knockouts. His last fight was very good against Nery. Nery dropped him
in the first.
Which was surprising. Yeah, dropped him. And man, I was like, oh my goodness, we got a fight going on. And then he was able to come back, adjust, and get him out of there in the 6th round.
Yep.
So
he dropped him 3 times, I believe. He dropped him in the 2nd, then he dropped him in the 5th, and then the 6th, and the 6th was the finish.
So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's on an 8 KO streak at the moment.
Yeah,
which is phenomenal.
Absolutely. He's pound for pound number 1 or number 2 easily.
For sure. Is he not undisputed still?
Oh yeah, he's on his way to undisputed.
Oh, I was gonna say, because I was like, "Where's the WBA?"
Yeah, that's the only one he doesn't have.
No. He's got the WBA, but the thing is that BoxRec took off the WBA.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. You said
After that whole thing.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, he's still undisputed. You know what I mean? His opponent, TJ, how do you say his last name?
Doheny.
Doheny. 26
It's
and
Irish,
4
so I was gonna say Doheny.
from Ireland.
Yeah, how would you pronounce that? Doheny. Doheny. I think it's Doheny. I don't know.
Doheny.
He looks better now than he does in that picture. Why does everybody in BoxRec? Why do they pick the ugliest pictures for BoxRec?
They pick the worst pictures,
They
bro.
really do. They try to make
They'll put people's mugshots.
Oh, for
They
real.
don't even care. So he's on a 3-fight winning streak. And then out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, out of his last 7, he's 4-3.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's not the best look, I will say, especially he lost an 8-rounder, 12-rounder, a 10-rounder, all by decision, though. All of his losses are by decision, which do say something.
Oh, he's tough, and he comes for the knockout. So, like, if you notice, his last 3 wins are knockouts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he comes to hurt his opponents. From my understanding, that the stuff I know about him, he's tough, he's durable, and he comes to hurt you. So, in the stuff I was watching for the pre-fight stuff with Inoue, he was saying that he knows he's how do I say it? He knows he has, you know, a guy that's going to come for his head out in front of him. So he needs to take it serious, needs to be on his P's and Q's, and he just goes out there and get the job done.
Lee's saying it's a total mismatch. Inoue for the win.
Oh, not saying that Inoue is not going to finish this guy. What I'm saying is Inoue just knows that he has a guy who likes to, you know, come forward and take your head off.
And then for the Neary fight, I think he's talking about here, he just tried to walk through and got caught, laughed it off, and beasted the fight. Yeah, I mean, pretty much kind of he did. Exactly. He got caught in between a shot, you know what I mean? So he had to put some respect on Neary's name, which I think we all did. Yeah. And then, you know, handled it from there. And then we got Brandon Chase. Hey, buddy. What's up? What's up, Brandon Chase?
What's up, Brandon?
What's up, brother? What you think? What you think about this? So, yeah, I mean, for what it is, bro, I'm trying to see a good fight. And then maybe one other fight and then move him up to featherweight, bro. Like, you know what I mean? If you don't got nobody at super bantam, move up to 126. And let's see you fight some guys at featherweight. You know, I'm not gonna be the guy that's like, oh, send him up to 130 right now. No. But
let him go level by level. As what? How old is Inoue? Let's go back to him. How old is he?
Let's see. Inoue he's 31. Yeah. So he's not the youngest guy in the world.
No. But he's in the prime of fighting. He's like 28 to 35 is kind of your prime in fighting.
And then check this out. Here's another thing. Is Doheny is 37, bro. Yeah, he's got everything going against him. If he could pull the upset, I mean, that'd be one of the biggest upsets that we've seen.
If anybody bets on him besides his family, then good for them if that happens, but that ain't happening.
And you know he's got cousins that aren't gonna bet on him. They're gonna be like, oh, I support you, and they're betting against him.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but that being said, man, it's gonna be a good fight. It'll probably be a good showcasing.
I would say if he doesn't catch him early in the first or second, I would say we got about 4 to 6 rounds of some solid boxing, and then Inoue gets him out of there.
I mean, yeah, you know, we'll see. That's what people were saying about what's his face, Paul Butler, at his last fight at bantamweight back in that was already in December 2022.
Yeah,
feels like it wasn't that long ago. But yeah, and then by the 11th, he got him out of there. So
yeah, I think at this one, just the age gap difference. How old was Butler when he fought him?
Butler
34 and 2, so he was probably a little bit older too. He was 35, so actually he would have been 33 at the time. So that's in his prime. So I think 37 is a little bit out of the age bracket. I'm with Lee. I say 5 to 6 rounds. He's calling the body shot finish.
Yeah.
Okay.
5 or 6 rounds. Body shot finishes it. All right, we'll see, Lee. We'll see, Lee.
I'm gonna stop second guessing any of our guests, because every time I've done that, I have been completely effing wrong.
Bro, that one guy that was talking about
Martin Bacall. I was all on Jared Anderson on that one.
Mhm.
Then he called. There was somebody else who called it. So I'm glad our guests know what they're talking about. Apparently, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'll second that. But that being said, we got some massive couple of months ahead in boxing from IFL TV.
That card is great.
This one right here, yeah, we'll get into it in a second. Shout out to Lee. I'm pretty sure IFL is British. So obviously we got Inoue, 3 weeks, Canelo Alvarez versus Berlanga, and then you got Plant on that making his return. You got Romero Rolly making his return.
David Garcia versus Erslandy Lara on the
Danny
Canelo
Garcia.
Alvarez. Yeah, Danny Garcia, right?
Yeah, I was about to say David Garcia's fighting.
Oh, I said the sorry, my bad. Danny Garcia versus
Lara.
Erslandy Lara.
Yeah,
that's another good one.
Solid.
That's a solid card, the Canelo Berlanga card.
No, for sure, 100%. And then Joshua versus Dubois for the IBF title that they stole from what's his face from Usyk. So we'll see what happens. It's almost like a little 4-man tourney going on. We'll see if Fury can get it done in December, but that's some time away. Anthony, I forget how to say his name, Kaseki versus Josh Warrington. He just took the IBF title at 130 pounds. So that was a good fight. No, a lot of people weren't betting on him to win. Buatsi versus Willie Hitchinson, that's a good fight. Shiraz, that's a good fight. Josh Kelly, Liam Smith, Nick Ball. We got 7 weeks to go. Artur Beterbiev versus Dimitri Bivol. On the undercard, you got Shakur Stevenson versus Joe Cardina, which is crazy, man. We were talking about how they were supposed to, they're supposed to do that. What was it? The purse bid for Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened with that. I don't know how.
This Joe Cardina fight. It's how did William Cepeda not get the mandatory like you're saying and not the like how did that work? How is it because he signed with Matchroom? But doesn't Matchroom have Cepeda?
No, Golden Boy does. So I don't know. There's probably some boxing politics in that.
Yeah, I bet there was then.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll see what happens. This is going to be Shakur's first fight on Matchroom as well as Riyadh season, and all I'm saying, bro, is that he has to show up and fight because how critical have we been on the show about Shakur Stevenson, and for him to then get a massive deal off of that is just, I mean, it's like you're giving the promotion to the guy who didn't do the work.
Yeah.
So.
And you've called it before. You've already said it. He's definitely outbidded himself in certain fights to not have those fights. Like calling for $30 million against Tank. You're not worth $30 million, bro. One fight.
Yeah. Lee saying Joshua versus Dubois. That's going to be a good fight. Dubois definitely. I mean, with the comebacks with Big Baby and then Hrgovic. I mean, the Hrgovic performance was great. I feel like he got hit with a lot of straight right hands, and I don't know that he takes those from Joshua, especially Joshua 3.0 that we're seeing now, that he might be the best heavyweight out there. I know he's already lost twice to Usyk, but I just felt like he went in with the wrong game plan, and then he went in and tried to fight the same game plan and still, lost again.
You think he can get past that? You think what we're seeing now is really going to be able to get past?
I think he has gotten past it mentally. I think mentally he's gotten past it, and that's why we're seeing him fight so well. And he's in the coaching too with Ben Davison, bro. They're like putting it together. Yeah. He's really utilizing Joshua's strengths and his advantages. I mean, he beat the shit out of what's his face, Otto Wallin. So, Lee Gibson with the pow 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 Bivol. Opataya is one for the future to watch. He's one to watch right now. Talking
Oh
about the
yeah.
future, bro. Jai is legit, especially, and he's making some noise in the cruiserweight division, bro. The cruiserweight division is always one that nobody really watches, and it's kind
Look
of a
what
shame.
look what he's fighting for.
What?
Apataya and Jack Massey are fighting for the Ring Magazine cruiserweight titles.
I thought he already had it.
So that's probably why it's on the line, because I think he's going for the IBF.
No, he had the. I think he had both.
Oh, okay.
He had both, and it was crazy because they ended up like stripping him of the IBF because the IBF is just. I mean, the rules they make, dude, are just so insane. Like it doesn't even make sense. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna strip, what's his face? If you're gonna strip Usyk, like I guess maybe you can make sense of it, maybe. But then after that, you're gonna go strip Canelo over not fighting a guy that nobody's heard of.
Exactly.
It just makes no sense, bro. It just makes no sense.
The Alphabet Gang at work.
Dustin, awesome dude. I would love to get together and have a shot or two. Where are you at, Dustin? Where are you at, bro? And shots of what? You know what I mean? Drop it below, brother.
Tequila, bourbon, what we doing?
Tequila, dog.
Oh, you want tequila?
I'll do whatever. Yeah. I mean, I'll do whatever.
You know, I thought you was a rum guy, right? Puerto Rico, they got the rum, baby. That's the rum.
I think that's the only time I do drink rum is when I'm in Puerto Rico. So we'll see this not this weekend, next weekend. Next Thursday I'll be flying out there. So we'll see what happens.
Well, he said Jägermeister. Lee Gibson.
No, that's Leeds. That's Leeds.
They drink that over across the seas. Y'all like Jägermeister like that?
Bro, they drink whatever out there.
Oh.
They drink. They do
with a beer. We do.
They do
shots. Jaeger bombs.
Lee's out there, bro. Lee's out there with his lads. They're doing the bar mat shots. You know.
I remember the bartender. I did that. I gave that to somebody before. That's so terrible.
Yeah, it's disgusting, man. But let's see what else we got. Sky Nicholson. You know, Jack Catterall versus Regis Prograis. Here's the issue, bro. Jack Catterall, my man, is pulled the short straw every chance. Like this is a guy that probably should have been undisputed.
Didn't he beat Josh the last time? So who has the titles at that category?
No, but I mean, it was a what's it called? It was a non-title fight because Josh already lost to Teofimo, and he took so long to fight that they stripped him of all his other titles. See, that's where I'm like, I can understand you stripping titles.
Yeah,
because you don't fight in so long. Lee says with Red Bull. Okay, I could probably get down with that.
I
mean, I could get down with that with the Red Bull. But yeah, bro, it's one of those things where Jack Catterall should have been fighting probably Liam Paro for the IBF. But who do we have fighting for the IBF title versus Liam Paro now? Do you know?
No.
Bro, this might piss you off.
I'm sure it will. What?
Devin Haney set to challenge for world title this year in surprising comeback fight. Is it surprising? Hold on, let me switch up the view so everyone can see the actual headline. Is it surprising though? Because we said it before on the show. The reason why Devin Haney decided, I'm going to retire because he pulled a Rob Gronkowski. And they said, oh, well, you have to go, fight Sandor Martin. That fight wasn't going to make any money. So they purse bid and it was super low because he had a market adjustment. He saw that, now that he got his ass whooped, he's not really worth nothing. They tested it in the open market and nobody bid on it because nobody wanted to see that fight, which, it's a shame for Sandor Martin because Sandor Martin is good. He's got good skills. And then now he comes back and they're going to give him a title shot with Liam Paro. Dude, this is the kid. We talk about how like Devin Haney, like for him to just go, oh, well, I'm not going to fight anymore. And then pull the rug out and then come back and do this now that he gets a favorable matchup, because I'm sure he was negotiating behind the scenes. He just did that to get out of his purse bid.
Mm-hmm.
This kid, he's like the kid that just always gets his way. He got his O reinstated. He got the decision that a lot of people thought he shouldn't have got against Lomachenko. And now he's getting an IBF title shot after just getting his ass whooped. So we'll go into a little bit of this. He's had a roller coaster 2024 this far, beginning with a calendar year, blah, 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 blah. And he moved up to 140. And then they made him, okay, so yet he still opted to take a break and thus become the WBC's champion in recess. Alberto Puello assumed his position as a WBC champion. Just 2 months on from that decision, Haney now seems ready to put the complications of this year behind him and move on from his controversy with Garcia. And Eddie Hearn told Boxing Scene that he is attempting to stage a showdown between Haney and IBF super lightweight champion Liam Paro and Paro's native Australia. Damn, so at least they're making Haney go back to Australia.
Yeah.
So that's something. And then it goes, here's a quote. It's a good fight. It's a fight that Devin thinks he can win. Obviously, he can come back. He's in recess with the WBC, so it's a unification / regaining the title fight. Bro, my issue with the WBC, here's my issue with the WBC, is that if you're going to make somebody the champion in recess, I feel like the rules are you can do that, right? I'm not too, I mean, at the end of the day, they should have stripped him when he lost, because that was supposed to be the thing. But whatever, they put it back, so they probably would have given the title back anyways, like they did with Cormier and Jones. If you're going to make the man the champion of recess, the rules are, okay, well, you can only maintain that if when you come back, you automatically fight the champion. And then you get the chance to, like, unify that title. But you don't get to go, okay, well, I'm going to go fight for the IBF title, but still maintain my recess. Because now you're not in recess anymore.
No.
Recess is over. The bell has rung. Time to go back to class. You don't get to switch teachers and go to a different class and then say, and then your teacher sitting there, your main teacher going, oh, Devin Haney? Where's Devin? Oh, well, he's still at recess. He's not at recess anymore.
That's a great, I love that analogy.
It's done, bro.
That's great.
It's done. Lee saying pick and choose. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I get to pick and choose. And that's my whole issue with Devin, bro.
Is it Devin or is it his father? Let's be real about it. Is it Devin or is it his father?
Here's the issue. Devin. It's Devin, one, because he's the guy that the only way that you get like spoiled kids like this is when you've been treated like this and whoever's raising you doesn't raise you in a way to not be like that. So then you say, okay, well, who's raising him? His dad's even worse. His dad. Yeah, I don't even want to get into it, but
right.
Dude.
And my question to this is what's going to happen with him punching the guy? You know what I mean? What's going to happen with him? How can he be allowed to fight for a championship title fight the next fight after he just punched a random carnival worker because he was pissed about something?
Yeah, dude, that was freaking lame, bro. Too many bad people around him. Yeah, bro. Like whoever his crew is, it's like a bunch of dorks, bro. All of those guys, they tried to jump that dude and they couldn't even. And then Devin tried to punch him, but like couldn't. And then the way he punched him too, like he was like almost like hiding behind a guy. Like, bro, talk about a bigger lane. I don't know if you can.
You can't. He literally, when you're standing behind somebody and then swing a punch at somebody else, you're essentially sucker punching them. And you are a world boxing champion, and you're going to sucker punch a regular civilian. Get out of here.
And he cheated against Prograis, but
right.
Here's the issue with this too, bro. I bet he beats Paro.
Oh yes, he probably does. I would almost see that it works out definitely the way that we don't want it to. 100%.
Yeah, I don't want to make excuses for what's his face, who just had the title from Puerto Rico. Damn, drawing a blank. Matias.
Yeah, I was going to say Matias.
Yeah, Matias. With Matias, bro, like I felt like he just didn't show up in that fight. You know what I mean?
I feel like he thought it was going to be a walk in a park in a sense, like
and he just walked. Yeah, he walked forward, and it was Paro's volume. Yeah, it was his volume, it was his activity that won him the and Matias just wasn't able to adjust to it. He just kept like trying to move forward and walk into those shots. Devin's not going to play that game. Devin's going to box him, and I don't know that Paro's going to. It'll probably be like Kambosos all over again.
That, or it'll be like the Jorge Linares fight where the speed is just too much, and that's all.
Yeah, so we'll see. And then Devin will be champion again, and then oh yeah, here we go. And then they're gonna say, well, he's actually a unified champion because he's champion of recess. I freaking yeah, yeah, bro, absolute dork. What needs to happen?
Oh, that's great.
Is you had showed me something. I can't find it, but you had showed me something that Turkey.
Yeah, she wants to make the Ryan Garcia Haney fight. Whenever Ryan Garcia's suspension is up.
Yeah, so that'll be after May or April. So essentially, anytime after like April 20th, I think it was. So you can make it for late April. You can make it for May. So Devin has plenty of time. He could even probably fight twice in between that time. But
yeah. Well, when is this fight? When is this fight scheduled?
They're talking about December, I think it says.
Oh, he won't fight twice. He'll take this fight, get a title, and then he'll either back out of the Ryan Garcia fight, or they'll make that for right after Ryan Garcia, gets unsuspended.
Yeah, so they're talking about
is it December? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, something like that. So I feel like it said it somewhere in here, but regardless, we'll see what happens. This is just kind of like initial news where it's almost speculation, but
I see a fun little headline on this page, though. On that number 4, it says Ben Whitaker responds to Chris Eubank Jr.'s call out.
Oh, what was Ben Whitaker saying? Is Eubank Jr. going to go up to light heavyweight?
I don't know why Chris Eubank Jr. would go to light heavyweight because I don't see Ben Whitaker going down, but
no. I saw something recently that was saying, what about Ben Whitaker versus Jake Paul?
Oh, let's get that all day. All day.
Ben Whitaker would have to go up to at least 185, if not 190. But I feel like that would be fine.
He beating the brakes off that boy.
Yeah. So I feel like that would be a good fight.
Lee, I got that. This is the fight. I need. Lee's got the fight that we all need. Look at it. Lee's got the fight we all need. Haney versus Mayweather, guys. That's the fight we need. That's it right there.
Haney's a freaking dork, bro.
He really
Haney is a dork. He's got to be the biggest dork in boxing.
He has to be the most. I feel like he's going to end up as the most hated boxer in his generation.
Oh, dude, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised, bro. The thing is, too, bro, it's not even like he doesn't have the aura to be the villain. Like Floyd created the aura with Pretty Boy. Yeah. And I said this multiple times. You got a lot of these guys who, these young fighters come up and they want to be Money Mayweather, but they don't put in the Pretty Boy Floyd work in the fights in order to do that. So you got guys like Shakur, Devin Haney that are trying to do this. Gervonta is kind of putting in that Pretty Boy work right now. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it is almost Money-esque because he's almost kind of choosing his own opponents. He's a guy that's never been unified. Like, he has the skills, but now I'm hearing rumbles of what's it called? I'm hearing rumbles of Tank's next fight being against Valenzuela.
Really?
Who just beat Pitbull. And what did I say before? If they can't make the fight with with Lomachenko, they're going to go the Pitbull route. Well, now Pitbull got beat. So who else do they got? Valenzuela.
And that's not the matchup for Valenzuela, I don't think. I don't think that works in his favor.
I don't think so either. And then I'm hearing possibly Frank Martin is calling out Pitbull. That could actually be a pretty good fight because Frank Martin has skills.
Yes.
And if he's not weight trained, then we'll be pretty solid. But
the Venezuela fight is gonna have a clause on it too. We know that because he's too big.
Yeah, I mean they're all gonna have a clause on it, bro. Yeah. So it's like my man might as well just go back down to super featherweight.
Yeah, go to 130. He don't want to cut that weight either, though.
No, he don't. He don't want to cut the weight, but he wants. Excuse me. He wants to walk in at his weight, but let the other people cut the weight and not rehydrate up. It's essentially like you want to disadvantage this guy while you take the weight advantage over here.
Yep.
And then go, oh, well, I put the claws on there too. And it's like, bro, because you're not rehydrating at all.
Yeah.
Like maybe you're rehydrating to like 41, 42, 44, right? But it's not.
He's rehydrating to more near close his natural walking around weight when he's training. That's what he's rehydrating to. Everybody else is training around 150, closer to 160, getting down to the 135, and he's not letting them get up above 145, 146. You know what I mean? And they're not getting their full healthy weight back on like they would do in any other fight.
Exactly. But we were talking about Canelo. We were talking about Puerto Rico. Obviously, Canelo versus Berlanga is coming up. That's a fight where, we talked about it before. I don't feel that Puerto Rico's really behind Edgar Berlanga like that. And for Canelo, this is a fight where it was another one too, where I don't want to be the guy that's like, oh, I'm calling these fights, but I see how things are lining up, and after that fight that they had in Orlando, I went to it with Berlanga. I was like, man, they're really going to make this fight. They're already talking about, oh, he's the mandatory. They start creating the narrative. It's almost like propaganda-esque, where they're creating a narrative. They're passing up Morrell, but then the WBA gives Morrell a sweet deal with another secondary title, which they said they were going to quit doing, but then they created it again. And now we have this fight with Berlanga that nobody asked for. Well, everybody's been asking about the David Benavidez fight, and Canelo, it looks like, has a statement in regarding to that I think I just accidentally clicked out of. So let me pull that back up. But in the meantime, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, like, I'm going to watch the fight, and I'm hoping that Canelo just goes in there and beats the brakes off of him, because this is a guy who I've said before, they have to cash him out because Edgar Berlanga has a lot of money invested into him, and he's not going to be able to beat anybody else, maybe even in the top 15 of the super middleweight division. And that's including the guy who's fighting this weekend, Diego Pacheco. But here we go. Hold on one moment. I have this story here. Let me pull it up. 1 second. Here we go. Bear with me. And boom. Canelo dismisses David Benavidez' chances and delays talks for potential matchup. It says, what's next for David Benavidez after Canelo Alvarez's recent dismissal? In a recent interview, Canelo dismissed the prospect of fighting David Benavidez in the near future. Alvarez expressed skepticism about Benavidez' prospects in the light heavyweight division, saying, it's different when you are in your weight class and are fighting guys your weight. I think we're kind of referring to his performance against Gazdik. Also, I think he had mentioned, that the guy was coming off of Gazdik had already retired and then came back.
So I listened to this interview. It's on the Pound for Pound podcast with Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo. And he says exactly what you're saying. He essentially said, when you fight guys at your weight, and the weight that you're, essentially your real weight category is what he's trying to say. Like, he's trying to call David a weight bully.
Which I mean, people have called him that in the past, but
he said, once you fight guys at your weight, once you see that, when you go up there and you fight in the right weight category, your weight category, however you want to say it, he was saying it's a different feel. It's not the same. You could see that it was much more trouble. The power didn't necessarily transfer as much as it does in his at 168 and everything like that. And he has some points to it. But I also feel like, the first time you move up, you're fighting a former world champion. Yes, I know he retired, but he's only been beat by Beterbiev.
Yeah.
That dude knocks everybody out.
Yeah, exactly. So, I definitely, I see what you're saying. It's one of those where, Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see if this fight ever even happens. Essentially, what he's saying is Alvarez also stated he would only entertain discussions about a potential bout with Benavidez after his fight with Edgar Berlanga, emphasizing his preference to focus on current obligations, which I feel like is fair. Because you know what everybody says when you have a fight lined up and then everyone's talking about a different fight, everyone says, well, my focus is on this fighter here. How long did we see that? I mean, essentially for 5 years we saw that with Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, Pacquiao. He's like, well, I'm focused on Miguel Cotto. I'm focused on Maidana. I'm focused on, insert the fighter who he was fighting at the time.
And I get that, and I know media is supposed to ask questions. To be real, as a fighter, that's what you have to do. You have to focus on the task at hand. You can't start skipping over people and thinking that, this guy's a can of, a can of tomatoes, and I'm just going to go beat on him, and then I'm going to go to this guy. You do that, this is fighting. Anything can happen.
Especially with, I'm saying that Berlanga doesn't have a chance because of his boxing ability, but he has a chance in the sense of his power, because the guy does have power.
Yeah.
It's just him being able to deliver the power.
Yep.
Right? So if Canelo goes in there like Matias and just thinks, oh, it's going to be a walk in the park, it might turn out for a long night for him.
Yep.
And, who knows? Maybe that's what's happening in some of his other performances, like with Ryder, with Triple G3. Even Bivol, people were saying like, what was this? What was this performance? It was like, this didn't look like the Canelo that just fought against Plant, but who knows? Maybe that was because Bivol shut it all down.
Yeah. Canelo said he even said it kind of in the same interview of this. He was saying that because Henry Cejudo asked him the question, it looks to me like, this Berlanga is really getting under your skin. Like, you're really getting agitated with things. Like, what is it? He goes, you will see Canelo again. I've been Saul, for a while. He's like, you'll see the Canelo. You'll see who Canelo is. He was saying that, like, you're going to see that a very
vintage.
Yeah. That's what he's essentially stating. You're going to see the mean Canelo Alvarez, the guy who's like, I'm here to hurt people type stuff. He's like, I will beat him and make him feel pain, but not past 6 or not past 6 or not past 8. After that, he's done.
Yeah. So, who knows that? I mean, I like that. I like hearing that, but I feel like everybody says that. So I'll believe it when I see it. You know what I mean? I think something that's interesting to talk about is the fact that the UFC is going on the same night. I know, what is it, next week or the week after?
The week after is the next week, but the following week is fight week for Nochi and Canelo.
Yeah, I definitely want to break that down some more, especially with the numbers and like which is going to perform better, because I'm hearing that, especially with it being at the Sphere, that the ticket prices are through the roof.
Oh, astronomical. They're like $1,000 to get in the building, from my understanding.
I heard even more. And
they probably are.
It's and what they're saying is that they're having issues selling the tickets. And it might possibly be because there's a Canelo fight down the street at the T-Mobile. Even though really it shouldn't really be that much of a competition, because Canelo's fighting probably like the weakest opposition that he's had yet. I mean, Berlanga does have a little bit of a name, so maybe you could say the Ryder fight was more. But
here's my take on it. You have Canelo, who sells pay-per-views, period end. We already know that, right? Everybody, like, he's the generation, he's the face of boxing. No matter what Jake Paul says about himself, Canelo's the face of boxing still, right?
Of course.
Of the world, boxing of the world.
You put his name on it and he's selling $500,000.
Yeah, he's selling at least 300,000 or more, right? He's selling that on
at least 500.
Yeah, at least 500 every time, right? So with that being said, and you look at the undercard and how we've talked about how boxing is now starting to put real superstars on undercards, whether they're fighting, top name opposition or not, they're putting names on these undercards that go with a Canelo, like a David Benavidez with a tank. You know what I mean? Now you have Caleb Plant, you have Danny Garcia, you have Lara, you have Rolly, You know, you have all these guys on this fight card now underneath Canelo. To me, that boxing fight card, besides the main event at Nochi, is a better card than what Nochi's is bringing to me, in my opinion.
And it's crazy too, because even being somebody like myself who's a boxing and UFC fan, it's probably really never been like that.
Never.
Where you could say like two fights are going on at the same time, a boxing event and a UFC event. And as far as the card goes, like sometimes the boxing main event will be better, but when it comes to the UFC, it's like, bro, like
I'm watching the undercard and all of that, and then I'll go watch the main event for boxing.
Yeah. Like I'll pause the boxing and then I'll watch that afterwards. You know what I mean? Just don't check your phone, like something like that, because for the card of the UFC, it's like you want to tune into the full card. With this card for the Canelo fight, I mean, we're talking about Lara, Garcia, Plant. I mean, Rolly to an extent.
Yep.
You know, people are going to want to see him. He's an exciting guy. I don't think it's going to bring that much, but that's just another name on there. You know what I mean?
Who's a viral guy of some sorts, whether it be knockouts, whether it be the shit he says on Instagram, whatever it may be on media.
I mean, Lara's headline pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Danny Garcia's headline pay-per-view. Rolly's headline pay-per-view. Plant's headline pay-per-view. You got 4 guys on the undercard who have headlined pay-per-views in their own right. So if you imagine having that on a UFC card.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, Lee's got it right. We're combat sports fans. That's exactly where I'm at with this.
Exactly.
But yeah, man. So it's one of those. We'll see what happens. We'll definitely get into it a little bit more. But
as it gets closer.
For sure. One thing I do want to bring up is the fight this weekend. We got a young gentleman, Diego Pacheco, 21-0, 17 knockouts. He's only 23 years old. He fights. What do you mean?
Washington?
Yeah, he lives in Washington. He was born in Los Angeles.
Okay.
And he's a super middleweight. He'll be fighting Sulecki.
Is that 160 a super middleweight? 168?
Yeah.
Okay. Because 160 is 160 is middleweight, so 168 is
Sulecki's only lost to Jacobs, and he's only lost to Boo Boo Andrade. He beat Rosado.
Well, Rosado has fought literally every single freaking major fighter in his weight category.
Angel Hernandez, yeah. So this is a fight. I mean, Pacheco, you look at his last couple wins, a unanimous decision, KO, TKO, TKO, KO. I mean, bro, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 out of his last 10.
Yeah. What is this on? Is this on ESPN? What is it? Is it a? Are we able to see this on normal card?
Damn, I want to say it's a DAZN fight.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's still not unstreamable.
I want to say it's a DAZN fight. But that's a great question.
Yeah, I was trying to find. Ring TV usually says if it's a, what do you call it? If it's a on ESPN or what it's on.
Yeah, DAZN boxing.
DAZN. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, that's still streamable, guys. We can figure that out.
No, for sure. But here's something I want to bring up. So we see this guy, Marcelo Caceres, who he KO'd in the 9th round.
Mr. Brian Jimenez, thank you for that answer, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Brian. I mean, here's a common opponent with my man Edgar Berlanga from 2021. He fought.
This is the guy who took Edgar Berlanga to the full length, right?
He took Edgar Berlanga to the full length, and then look at this.
And he dropped him in round 9.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where we can't really do the fight math like that.
No. But
it's a good Berlanga was down in round 9, and Pacheco took him out in round 9. Take with that as you will.
Yeah.
Looks legit.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? So This is definitely a guy. I mean, that's what I'm saying, bro. He's young. He's 20. He's 23. He's kind of in like.
Would you call him a boxer or a puncher?
This guy?
Yeah. Have you watched him?
I mean, I've watched him before, but it's not like I haven't like watched him like that. You know what I mean?
I'll definitely try to tune into this one then.
Yeah. So
because I'm gonna be real with everybody. I don't know who this dude is, so I'm glad that you're pointing this fight out so I can learn from my guy Ray and watch some new people.
This is one where I mean, you got a younger guy coming up in the division. Now, with him, it's similar to kind of like a guy his age, like Xander, where I don't think you need to be throwing him in there with title shots and stuff like that. He definitely has some work to do. And then Brian Berlanga should have fought Caleb Plant before Canelo, would have been more exciting. Brian, completely agree with you 100%.
They were beefing too. They were chirping. They were chirping at each other. I would have loved to see that.
The issue with that is, man, you know, I've said it before, I'll say it again, is that Berlanga had too much money from, you know, certain sources invested in his career very early to give him his favorable record. Then once he started fighting, you know, sub world class level fighters, it was like his power dissipated all of a sudden. Then they were pushing for the Canelo fight. Oh, we're going to fight Canelo. We're going to fight Canelo. And with a little bit more money involvement, with making the right moves, especially with the WBA, because they're sketchy, they were able to materialize this fight and manifest this fight. And essentially what it is, like Lee Gibson was talking about, it's the red panty night. Now they're able to get a big payday because they know he's not going to win, but they want to. They have to cash him out, bro. He's been too much of an investment. Him fighting Plant isn't going to get your return on investment. Fighting Canelo will, but Plant will not. And everybody knows that Berlanga will lose to Plant. Yeah. He will 100% lose to Plant. He'll lose to Andrade. He'll lose to pretty much anybody, at least in the top 10, maybe even the top 15 at super middleweight. He hasn't been proven, bro, and that's why. Everybody's saying Canelo's going to go in there, especially if Canelo's saying, oh, you know, Canelo's going to show up. He's going to take him out to walk. Brian, agree.
To us, the Caleb Plant as fans, the Caleb Plant Berlanga fight would have been more exciting to us as fans. It's not making the boxing, you know, promoters that are promoting Berlanga any more money than, definitely not more money than this fight. This is their cash out, like you said. This is their cash out of Berlanga. Mm-hmm. And essentially, I'm going to throw you to the wolves. If you get eaten, you get eaten. I made my money. If not, well, then we've made even more money.
Yeah, exactly.
So
if somehow he could pull it off.
Yeah, which
he's made even more. But yeah, you know what I mean? He's not winning against Plant. Plant would school him. Any of these guys would school him. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it, man. Definitely look out for Pacheco. He's on the rise. This is a guy that I feel like in the next couple of years, once he hits, you know, like 25, gets a couple more wins, starts moving up in the rankings and whatnot, we're going to be talking about this guy, especially when it starts coming into the exit of Canelo. You're going to start seeing those, you know, the Dragon Balls get redispersed as in the titles. And we'll have to see essentially what happens at super middleweight. And Diego Pacheco, I feel like, is going to be in a position to fight for world titles, and whatnot. But let's see. While I'm on this subject, let's see the rings ratings at super middleweight. So, my boy William Skoll made it to number 10.
And Berlanga's up to what?
Bro, the Berlanga's at number 7.
Is Caleb Plant on there ranked?
I don't know why Caleb Plant isn't on here. Maybe because he's been inactive for over a year.
Maybe so, but either way, we're saying Berlanga's better than Plant. Okay.
Pacheco's ranked at number 4.
Yeah.
They have him ranked higher than Berlanga.
That's crazy.
So
I mean, that's not crazy like in our eyes. I know what we're saying, but I'm saying that's funny that the guy that Canelo's fighting is, you know, even ranked like that when I feel like he really doesn't even be ranked right now unless it's like at the back end.
Trying to provide for their family's future after boxing. With what, like the Berlanga fight? I think Berlanga just owes people money. If I'm being fair, I believe his only chance is to try to box him like Bivol did. I just think
he corrected his saying he's trying to say he's not experienced enough to do it.
not experienced enough to do it. Canelo with the 9.
Yeah.
You're right, Brian, bro. It's like to be able to pull that off, like you have to have a style like Bivol, and Bivol that's a very, like fine-toothed style.
Oh, absolutely. I think Caleb Plant even had a style that could have beat Canelo, but he just can't keep that gas tank going backwards with the pressure for 12 rounds. It's just not
tough,
happening.
bro. It's tough.
It's hard. Canelo keeps that pressure on you and he walks forward and he can take shots. We haven't seen Canelo rocked. I mean, he ate right hands that were nasty from Triple G, just like Triple G ate the biggest overhand right I've ever seen in my entire life. Triple G just ate it and looked at him. I mean, the dude's got it.
The only time we've ever seen Canelo even rocked once was against Miguel Cotto's brother, when Canelo was 19 years old.
Yeah, like other than that, man's got a fucking ironclad chin. Like it's crazy.
It's nuts.
Yeah, I think he is a machine. Canelo's a machine for sure.
100%.
I definitely think at 168, it's hard to keep him off you if you don't hurt him. I think, like I said, with the only guy at 168 that has the best chance to beat Canelo is David Benavidez, because he's bigger, he's got hand speed, and he has that nasty power, at that weight category. I mean, I think that's the only person that has the ability to beat Canelo right now at 168. Everybody else, you're not keeping that man off you. He's going to get to you.
Yeah. I don't really give anyone else a chance either. I agree. and even now, if Canelo and his team are smart, if they do take that Benavidez fight, maybe let Benavidez fight another fight like he's talking about wanting to fight quarter 4.
Bring his ass down.
And let him get used to 75 again one more time, and then bring his ass right back down.
Yep. Agreed.
And then if Canelo really wants to, he can make another date too in December, like how he makes extra dates sometimes.
Yeah.
And then go fight Skull. You know what I mean? And then go to reclaim his IBF. But at this point, it's one of those where Canelo's the type of guy where if you insult him like that, then he's just kind of like.
I really think you're somewhat of a soothsayer. Do we have all my nerds out there? That's a little fantasy realm of someone who can tell the future, right? So I believe, Ray, you are a soothsayer in a lot of ways, because a lot of stuff you tell me 3 to 4 months ahead of time when we're just talking about boxing for the fun of it, before we get on here and stuff, really comes to fruition. And it's really funny because you just saw my boy William Skull is number 10 now. When was he ranked before this fight? He wasn't.
Yeah.
That we saw.
I don't remember him being on.
I don't remember ranked. If he was ranked, and somebody's telling me I'm wrong, that's fine. But I don't remember him being ranked. But it's so funny you said he makes an extra date. William Skull is now ranked in the one ranking system that me and you agree on that is the best. Gives that a little more validity to him making an extra date, fighting William Skull, and then making that date with David Benavidez later on down the line, and giving David Benavidez enough time to have one more fight at 175, and then bring his ass down and make him get, and make that weight cut be even worse for him. And I think you're leaning into another crystal ball image in here, but I really do think it could play out the way you're saying it. Like it's kind of funny how the little small details are lining up in a way.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what's going on with this. Let's see.
Lee Gibson, the only ginger Mexican. So here's a funny story about that. Why we're looking at that Lee. If you watch the interview with Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo and Canelo Alvarez, Kamaru Usman says, "It blew my mind that all of a sudden I thought I was watching an Irish guy fight, and then you spoke Spanish." Like Kamaru Usman didn't know he was like really Mexican. He goes, "What?" He goes, "He's a redheaded ginger. He's a ginger from Mexico." He goes, "That's crazy." It was really, he even said that to him. I was like, that's pretty funny. So he was
Yeah.
in the interview, though, he was complimenting him about how well he's speaking English now. Because Canelo did the whole interview in English, which was cool.
Yeah, he's been a lot better the past couple of years. This is when Canelo got stripped. You know, it's a little bit of old news, but let's see if we can pull anything from here. No longer undisputed, stripped of his IBF title, was ordered on May 13th to defend his title, but it came less than 2 weeks after he defended his title, being a relatively unknown, blah, blah, blah. Purse bid was ordered. On June 18th, 2024, the IBF received emails from both parties indicating that an agreement has been reached. According to the IBF, sent notification that the purse bid was rescheduled for June 18th, had been canceled. However, the terms of the agreement were not disclosed to the IBF. Tom Brown, on behalf of Saul Alvarez, sent a letter to the IBF on July 5th requesting an exception to participate in an optional defense against Berlanga, essentially. On July 19th, the IBF board of directors met via video conference to discuss this matter. A majority of the directors determined that the request should not be considered in pursuant to Rule 11A, which states in part, once the IBF has sent out the notice of the date of the purse bid or once a contract has been signed and mandatory bout, no request or exception can be made. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Oh, so they want to follow the rules now.
They always do that, bro. Like I get their rules, and you know sometimes they have rules, but the way they enforce the rules are so ridiculous.
Terrible.
I think David Morrell Jr. could give him a run for his money. Cuban style boxer, great amateur pedigree. I agree too, actually. Yeah, Morrell could, but now they made a sweet deal with Morrell to get him out of the way in the WBA, giving him another secondary title, another essentially like fake world title at 175 when they said they weren't going to do that anymore. So, but WBA,
we saw again David Morrell's big. You know, he's definitely big for that weight class. But we saw David Morrell Jr. move up, and he had problems with Hot Rod. You know what I mean? Hot Rod's a crafty fighter. He's veteran. He's tough, and that wasn't the easiest fight ever either. You know what I mean?
I think part of it also was kind of the game plan. Like I felt like he went in there trying to put him away.
Yeah.
And when Hot Rod took all the shots, it made the fight a lot tougher. But to your point, yeah, he went in there to try to put him away, and he couldn't.
Yep.
You know, similar to the other David.
Yep.
So let's see. IBF has stripped him. Blah, blah, blah. Giving over as many opponents. So what's the deal with the IBF title now? Is Skull going to fight whoever else for it? So I don't know. This is not the first time IBF has stripped Alvarez of a championship. Previous stripping of middleweight title in 2019 for failing to come to terms on a deal against mandatory challengers Sergey Derevianchenko. Yeah, that was ridiculous. That was ridiculous as well. So yeah, the IBF is yeah, you know what I mean? I don't know what to say about them. Their WBA's canceled. IBF should be canceled. WBC should be canceled. And then what, you got the WBL? Like they're any better?
Let's just go to Ring TV, Ring Magazine belt. Let's just call it a day. Riyadh, get the league together. Let's run it. Let's make the fights you want to see.
Yeah.
One belt. Let's go.
We're talking about secondary titles. Make all of the championships, the ABC titles, make all of them secondary titles. You could still consider yourself a world champion, right? So they still kind of have the same, I'm a world champion, but you're not the champion of the world unless you have the Ring Magazine. And we need to have, what's it called? We need to have somebody like Turkey step in and be able to do it. And I feel like right now, kind of the only person that can tell them no is Canelo.
Yeah.
Because he can kind of just do whatever he wants. But actually, I have one more story before we go.
Okay.
So Lee says interim titles. Well, the interim title whole thing is like sometimes, bro, especially like in the UFC, right? UFC for the most part does interim titles correctly. Sometimes they go a little bit boxing with it. For example, like when Poirier won the interim title, when Justin won the interim title, I felt like those were a little premature. You know what I mean? Khabib was fighting. He fought once a year. I feel like that's enough. Now, like Tom Aspinall, that's a good interim title. Cyril Gane, ridiculous. Ridiculous, bro. What was it? When Adesanya fought for it, I felt like that was good. Like there's certain times where if the champion can't fight or is going to be out for an extended period of time, instead of stripping the champion, you have the interim title presented. But that being said, I feel like they need to put more respect on the interim title, because if you're the interim champion, you're the champion that's fighting. You know what I mean? And then when they say, oh, you know, you unify the titles, like if you win, then that should be a title defense because you were part champion as well. There's a dispute if you want to make it undisputed, right? So with boxing, interim titles are just a cash grab. They just throw out they'll have a guy fight for the interim title like the week after or even the week before that a guy fights for the regular title. It is insane. It's ridiculous. But that being said, there's a guy who is a WBO interim title holder in a certain weight class. Excuse me. And the WBO champion is unified with the WBC. And we were hearing that he was going to fight Earl Spence. Of course, I'm talking about my boy Sebastian Fundora.
Sebastian Fundora.
So I don't know what's going on with this Earl Spence fight, but
isn't he mandatory for Terrence Crawford right now?
Bro, this is what I'm seeing. It's the other way around. And I saw this today, and this was granted is on Facebook, so I got to look into the validity of this. But this is from Michael Benson, bro. The WBO have officially ordered Sebastian Fundora to defend his unified championship in another unification against Terrence Crawford next. Crawford has the WBA super welterweight world title and the WBO interim belt. 30 days to agree to a deal, then purse bids. So, bro, that fight is happening. I don't know what this means for Earl Spence, but Earl Spence is thrown to the side, and I am fine with it.
Yeah.
I'm totally cool with it because for him to get the opportunity to fight in a new weight class and then fight for the undisputed title, or not undisputed, but the unified title. And you haven't even fought in that class. 2, you're coming off of a loss that was terrible over a year ago. And you have the guy who totally outclassed you in the same division. You got to put Terrence in front of it. So I like this move. And what I like about it is that now Terrence doesn't have to fight another fight on the in-between, because now you got Tim Tszyu fighting for the IBF, and now Terrence has the opportunity to fight, and if he beats Fundora, he will then hold 3 of the 4 titles. All that's left is the winner of the Russian dude, forget his name, Bozowajuk versus Tszyu.
Yeah.
Let's say Tszyu wins that fight, right? Because I think we're all rooting for Tszyu. Tim Tszyu versus Terrence Crawford for undisputed at 154. That's a huge fight, bro.
Yeah.
That is a huge fight. And then if Terrence Crawford could pull it off, bro.
Oh yeah.
And he'd be the first fighter ever to be undisputed in 3 weight divisions.
That's his that's his legendary solidification right there. He doesn't have to fight Canelo to get that legendary status solidified. That would be it right there.
Lee on the subject of interim titles. It's not just another title added to all the rest of the belts, though. If you can't fight and defend, you need to vacate. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's one of those things where if you can't fight and defend, then you kind of have to see, like, all right, are you going to come back? Or, like, you know, are you going to be Dominic Cruz, where, like, he didn't come back, so they had to strip him and then elevate the champion? Or even freaking McGregor, both times he didn't come back. But, I mean, Tony was never elevated, but whatever. That's a whole other thing. We're talking about boxing. So, what are your thoughts on this? Are you more excited about this matchup than Earl Spence?
Yes.
What do we do with Earl Spence? And who do you think wins this fight?
Terrence Crawford beats the absolute dog piss out of Fundora.
Okay.
All right. So he gets to the body, he snatches him, he does whatever it is. It's not going to happen. He's too crafty. Fundora's not keeping him at range and doing all the stuff that he might have been able to do. He would have lost the fight to Tim Tszyu if that cut didn't happen anyways, right? That's what we're saying. So I love
100%.
the Tim's. I love the
He
Zoo
might have lost it like in like 6 or 7 rounds, bro, if not sooner.
Yeah, I like this the Zoo versus Crawford fight for unification. I hope that happens, but I'm also not upset if you give Errol Spence another fight, and then he fights Zoo after that, and then that winner fights Terrence Crawford. I wouldn't be upset with that either. I think Zoo can still beat Errol Spence because I think Earl is just not the same guy when he was man down. You know what I mean?
For
He's
sure.
He's just not that same guy. I'm not knocking Earl. I think he's a great, unbelievable fighter. But that car wreck and then the beating that he took from Terrence Crawford, I think it does something to you. It shows you that you're slowing down a little bit in your career because none of us, besides maybe Terrence Crawford and his camp, knew he would beat the absolute brakes off of Errol Spence the way he did.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna win.
Yeah, I didn't know he was gonna win like that.
I didn't think he was gonna do it like that. Yeah, even though I did have a bet on the round, the TKO round, that was just because I was like placing bets, right?
Lee Gibson, watch your mouth.
Zoo beats Crawford. I mean, Zoo's good, bro. Zoo's good. We saw Crawford, struggle in his what's it called? His junior middleweight.
That is not the same style that he would struggle. Zoo style is way easier for him not to struggle with. Let's be real. Style that
I agree with you, but I wouldn't be surprised, bro.
No, I understand what you're saying. I get that, but I'm not betting against Crawford. I'm sorry.
Yeah, me either.
I'm not doing it. But
I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised, like, because Zoo's good, and it'll make for a tough fight. But I like this fight much better. This fight is, I feel like, the fight that should be happening, because even though Terrence was just coming into 154, he was still the biggest name at 154 before he even fought there. Just him saying I'm going to 154, he's automatically the biggest fighter there. And then, he wins. I'd say put Earl against Madrimov. Put him against Boachuk, the guy who just fought.
Damn it. Yeah, let Earl fight Madrimov. Perfect.
Put him against Virgil Ortiz.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens. Lee saying Zoo versus Crawford's to pick him, but I feel like if Zoo can win the IBF, Terrence beats Fundora, Zoo versus Terrence, and that's the other thing too, bro. For Terrence, Terrence doesn't have to take in between fights. He needs to be going straight for titles. Like, he's not the guy where he goes, oh well, I don't know that, bro. He's earned the right to be able to go, excuse me, I'm coming after that one, and I'm going straight for that one. I don't need to fight Virgil Ortiz. You know what I mean? No offense to Virgil Ortiz.
No.
He was in a tough fight.
He's earned his right to grab the titles. That's what he's earned.
We don't need to just because you got Oscar De La Hoya in Turkey's ear going, oh, I want to see this fight next. Nah. We make this, and then we make Zoo versus Crawford and for undisputed, and then boom. That's it. And then if Crawford wants to close the curtains on his career, he could do that. If he wants to go chase a title at 160, he can do that too.
Yep, I agree.
You know what I mean? That would be, because then, now you're looking at a 5-weight world champion, 3-weight undisputed. I mean, just absolutely legendary career at that point. But you know what I'm saying? We'll see what happens.
Mr. Lee Gibson, if they fight Zoo and Zoo beats Crawford and you called it, I'm gonna send you some Fight Banana swag of something, bro. I don't care if I gotta send it across the water. I'm gonna send it to you because you picked it. You called it this early. Fight ain't even ready. If you get it, I'll send you something.
There you go. There you go, Lee. That means you got to tune back in.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
And everybody, get ready for in 2 weeks. We're gonna have a massive amount of stuff getting dropped on our content from our Instagram, Fight Bananas pages, everything like that. Your people from Fight Bananas will be in Las Vegas during the Nochi and the Canelo fight week. So be ready to follow, subscribe, all that good stuff, and be ready to get all of the goodies from fight week in 2 weeks.
Boxing Bananas and Fight Bananas will be in the building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's what you need to go. But before we close it up, let's get one more shout out for our sponsors. Check out Jazzercise.
Jazzercise, guys. I promise you, you will feel a difference. All you got to do it is 10 to 15 minutes a day. I use it while I'm driving. Super simple. Keeps me busy. Put on some tunes and just do it, right? Now you're not texting and driving and doing some crazy shit, right? Use Fight Bananas for 15% off your order, right? Boom, right there. Jazzercise. Go get it. And then HK USA, we're using Bananas 20 for 20% off.
Uh-oh. Let me finish up. It sounded like my man had a battery die on him. So I'll finish up on that. You guys are on so late. Especially, bro, for you over there on the other side of the pond, bro. Check out our sponsor, HKA USA. Use code BANANAS20 for 20% off. And I would say that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, we'll probably got a show going on maybe Tuesday. Club going up on a Tuesday.